Hi friends, I am V.S. Bhaskar, a retired IAS officer of the 1985 batch. I belong to the Assam Meghalaya cadre, but I had the opportunity of working in the combined Andhra Pradesh state for almost about 15 years. Uh, Today we have amongst us one of the most distinguished uh, defense officer who retired as Major General. More importantly, at the operational level as the Commander-in-Chief of the sub-area of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, Major General retired Nanduri Srinivas Rao. It's my proud privilege because General Srinivas Rao also happens to be my classmate in Little Flower High School. While he studied right from the beginning till he joined the National Defense Academy, I joined in the 9th class and had the opportunity to be with him, to be his friends for 3 years, that is 9th, 10th, and 11th. After the 11th standard, he suddenly disappeared from Little Flower High School to join one of the most prestigious military training, defense training institutions in the world, I must say, National Defense Academy at Khadakwasla. Thereafter, of course, he has been trained in several specialized courses in IMA, Dehradun, then Officers Training Academy at Wellington in Coimbatore district of Tamil Nadu. Um, he has held several assignments in peace times and also in times of um, internal aggression, militant groups, terrorists who were constantly trying to destabilize our beloved nation, India, the Bharat. He has served in the army, the artillery side, for almost 38, 39 years. And you can imagine the friendship and the knowledge of each other goes for about 40 years. It is rarely that people have such friends, and I'm fortunate that he is my friend. Um, he is very famous. He has got a lot of interests, varied interests in cultural activities, in charitable activities, in providing aid to the poor and the downtrodden. He is seen after retirement. It is not as if he is twiddling his thumbs. No, you can see him in many channels. You can see him in newspapers, uh, participating in a variety of programs. So I feel very proud when I see him well dressed, well turned out, and speaking on those occasions with a lot of empathy. It's rare to have a combination of a head and heart so solid, so grounded, so very beautiful to see all at once. So, welcome to the program, General Srinivas. Um, do I have the permission to call you Srinivas or should I
Yes,
prefix General Srinivas all the time?
as you please,
Okay,
Bhaskar.
I will do it. I'll juggle it. Okay, General Srinivas. What made you join the army after being in an elite school like Little Flower High School, which could have made you taken you into engineering, medicine, thereafter maybe civil services or any other so many professions, and because you were quite good at studies. Can you please throw some light on what actually made you choose NDA?
Yeah, since my childhood, I had been interested in the defense services, possibly because my father has ingrained in me and made me call myself Major General since the time I can remember uh, saying this. Whenever he used to introduce me, what's your name? Perhaps for fun's sake, his friends used to ask me, and I used to say Major General Srinivas Rao. So maybe that is the back of my mind. And during 1971 war, 65 war, I was interested in what is happening along the border, and I used to make a lot of collection of all the news into albums. And perhaps I had that bent of mind. And while studying in Little Flower in the 11th class, first opportunity came for the UPSC exam, NDA. So the NDA examination is conducted by the UPSC twice a year. I took the first opportunity that I was eligible for, and I got selected. After that, there were a series of selection processes, the services selection board, the medical examination, and then the merit list, and I came through with flying colors in all this. By then it was almost 12th class halfway through, and I had to join by January. So since I was selected already in an elite organization, having crossed all the hurdles and got selected, I thought I'll take a chance with the defense services and joined the National Defense Academy. From then on, whatever I had inculcated during my school days and the knowledge that I had gained in Little Flower, that helped me a lot. And my friend circle, the way we used to participate in various debates and culture and various other activities, that also helped me in coming out with with high flying colors in the academy, both the National Defense Academy and the Indian Military Academy. After which I was given the President's Commission to be a second lieutenant in the Indian Army in the Indian Artillery.
Thank you. Srinivas, I remember very vividly late Sri PVG Krishnamacharya, who was the father of our close friend Rambabu, used to call you general when you were a second lieutenant, and how true it became. It's a matter of what do you call a happy coincidence, as they say. We all knew that you had the merit, but things must happen. Then only you realize how the old man, PVG Krishnamacharya, who also was in the eminent position of Director General of Police, that he could predict that you will rise to very great heights. Now, I just wanted to be a little clear about the kind of training. Like, you had training in NDA, you had training in the IMA, you had training in the Officers Training Academy in Coimbatore or Ooty. Is it Ooty or?
It is Wellington.
In Wellington. Then you would also, if I remember, had a course, commando training course.
Yeah.
So could you please throw some light on what does each of these institutions aspire to do with the candidates?
When we joined the National Defense Academy, so we are like all other boys, the way we were in our class. But when they selected us and people like me, they must have seen certain qualities which help them in molding me to do the task that they have chosen me to discharge during the course of my career. So in the National Defense Academy, we are required to be molded from boys into young men to leaders who are self-confident and who have all the virtues and the leadership qualities so that they can lead a large number of troops, even to the risk of laying down the life for the dear motherland. So this training is in varied fields. It is the personality, the qualities, the how you look at various situations, the empathy, the leadership qualities, knowledge to lead the men, to take everybody along, to convince the others why the task that we have undertaken, the mission that we have undertaken is very important to our unit and to the nation. So these things don't come over a period of lectures in the classrooms that we have in the schools and colleges. For this, the outdoor exposure is a must. And for this, 24/7, we are trained in the National Defense Academy over a period of 3 years. Incidentally, as the academic part of it, we have been given a BSc degree from the Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi. But otherwise, we were trained to be section commanders and to assume responsibilities and to lead men. So from a young boy, we have been converted to leaders. That is what the National Defense Academy did. In the National Defense Academy, apart from the Indian Army officers, future officers of the Indian Army, Indian Navy and Indian Air Force officers are also trained there. Subsequently, after finishing the National Defence Academy training, we go our ways to the Indian Military Academy to train for the further training to the army personnel, and to the Naval Academy for the naval guys, and to the Air Force Academy, Dundigal, for the Air Force people. So it was since I was in the army, I was sent to Indian Military Academy, Dehradun. For those people, for those youngsters who directly join through the Combined Defence Services Examination as direct entry, their training period is for 1.5 years. Whereas for the those who have come through National Defence Academy, we are required to be trained for only a period of 1 year, that is 2 semesters. And after that, we are given the President's Commission. So in this, the focus is more on leading a infantry platoon. Whatever is required to be done by a platoon in the battlefield, or we are made capable of handling all those situations. So we are brought up to that, and then they decide, depending on our choice, to which branch of the army we want to go to. It is just not our choice, it is also the requirement and the number of vacancies. So you know that the popular ones are the armored corps, the infantry, artillery, air defense artillery, electrical and mechanical engineers, signals engineers, such other branches. So irrespective of what we choose, they ask you, but they will allot. It is not that all the brilliant guys based on your merit are given your choice. Since a particular arm cannot have all the brilliant guys and all the dullards go last benchers go to the other arm, since it is not possible, we are put into 20 blocks. Like each block has got 20 cadets. During the allotment, so every arm gets one or two from these people. So in the regiment of artillery also, the toppers are also there, and those who were not who were lower down in the merit are also there. So that way it is balanced out. It was my good fortune that I got selected for I was allotted artillery, but the posting was to Secunderabad, where I again came into contact with you and Ram Babu, who had finished their engineering and joined the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. As to what Uncle Krishnamacharyalu, the then DGP of Andhra Pradesh state, had said, maybe he has seen youngsters like me pass through the police academy, and perhaps he has seen the way I conduct me, that I have the wherewithal to become a future general. And maybe they were his blessings also, which enabled me to rise to the rank of a Major General in the Indian Army. Thanks to you, Uncle.
That's very nice. I have seen you, although we have been friends for almost 40 years, I have seen you as second lieutenant, as lieutenant, as major. I have seen you as colonel, full colonel. Then I have seen you as a brigadier, then major general. I came to your flag house here in Bolaram. Every time I see, I feel very happy that he's because the army's pyramid of growth is rather steep, and it's not so easy to gain one rank after the other. Maybe till the rank of major it is all right, but after that it is a competition all the way. Now I just wanted to understand, is the defense spending of our beloved country adequate enough given the kind of challenges it faces on a day-to-day basis across the border?
The nature of war is changing almost every day. With every conflict we see around the world, the requirement of the armament, the technology, the kind of manpower, the training that is required, we are learning lessons from that. So if we spend money and procure something which will meet the requirements of today, it may not be suitable for tomorrow or day after's war. It is a continuous process. So both the government, the armed forces, the professionals, and the budget allocation, the bureaucracy headed by the minister, they have to look into they should be visionaries, and they should be integral part of looking at future wars, and develop and give that capability to the armed forces, both in terms of the equipment as well as the training facilities. We have seen that the Indian armed forces personnel, they can go up to the extent of laying down their lives to save our motherland. But for that, they need the equipment. That equipment is very expensive unless it is developed in India with our own resources. We have seen around that ISRO, what the kind of satellites that they launch, it is 1/10 or 1/50th the cost of the what NASA does. So similarly, the equipment that we get from the Western world or from the Russians, that is quite expensive, especially the Western world, the United States or the European nations. But they have been spending lots of money in research and development and the high-tech weapon systems, which are very useful to win wars without entering into the contact battle and bringing home body bags. Now perhaps what I have seen, yes, we used to struggle for our modern equipment to come in. We used to make projections, and our testing process and trials procedures are very deep ended. They are required, this equipment that we may procure are required to be with us to fight the enemies in the deserts, in the jungles, in the high altitude terrain, in Siachen Glacier. To meet such varied terrain and temperature conditions, the equipment has to meet the requirements of our armed forces.
So, are you saying that the budget requires to be enhanced defense allocations?
Yes, certainly. But more than the budget allocations, it should be whole of government approach, where the requirement of the armed forces is discussed with the bureaucrats who are allocating the money, with the finance department, and the politicians who are going to take the call as to what is our requirement. We do a lot of studies, in-house studies, before we put up a proposal to the government. But if at some stage they say, no, we don't have that kind of funds, you'll have to postpone it, then by the time the next time requirement comes, then we would have that would become obsolete, that technology. So these days, perhaps after retirement, what I'm seeing in the last 10-15 years, that we are focusing on Atmanirbhar Bharat. We have given the powers to the armed forces field commanders to procure immediate requirements. The capital budget expenditure is discussed thoroughly, and the DRDO, though they have promised a lot in the past, they couldn't deliver, but now they have caught up. We have given, the government has invited the private sector to invest, and in case they come up to the mark, then they are procuring. So these are real good changes which are in sync with the modern day and future warfare. So today we are in a very correct path, and we should have been like this perhaps 4 decades back onwards, which we may not have been.
Let's hope. I think the country will catch up with the lost time.
Yeah, certainly.
But more importantly, now the nature of warfare has indeed altered quite substantially. Now, earlier, what is that? It is actually the infantrymen who will go, who will physically annex a territory and add it to their country's conquests. Now it's no more that case. Yeah, you have cyber warfare. You have completely unconventional kind of weaponry being used, misinformation campaign, and paralyzing a country's complete network of computing and intelligence gathering. The entire cyber network of a country is is at the threat of being sabotaged. Are the army, the defense forces equipped to handle this threat? Because are we, these armed forces people who are trained not exactly in computer sciences of this level, how will they train themselves when they are in the middle ages? Are you engaging some kind of is the government in defense department engaging some experts from outside the world, like ethical hackers, let's say?
Yeah, you have rightly said. Earlier, when we were in service, we used to think that the war with any country, with our adversary, is going to be fought by the armed forces, by the defense services. It is no longer that way. If we go to war with anybody, or if we have a conflict with anybody, less than full scale war, it is the entire country, the government, the bureaucracy, the DRDO, the scientists, the IT industry. Everybody is contributing towards the war effort. Everybody is required. It is just not the armed forces alone that are fighting the war. To back them up, we have the intelligence agencies. The RAW has to provide us the inputs. The IB has to provide us the inputs. All this is amalgamated at the highest level, at the JAC level, and the feed is given to the defense headquarters. And that is all the intelligence also, it is required to be shared amongst all stakeholders, and everybody has to chip in, including the railways, the civil aviation, the signals, BSNL, the now the private
Internet
services providers. Everybody has to chip in. So now, as we are speaking, even those youngsters who are all around us in the high-tech city, when called upon, when we are at war with any other nation, they are required to chip in and contribute their whatever expertise they have towards war fighting. And this is the way we are going to fight the war, and we have been fighting war, especially in Op Sindoor.
So, unlike in the past, where wars were only between the armies and defense forces, it is now become multidisciplinary.
Because it is the nation, the entire nation is at war.
Because it's no more just
exclusive
a defense
domain.
man with another defense man.
It is not an exclusive domain of the armed forces.
So, I hope some good steps are being taken to unify all these forces and have a robust, coordination mechanism, because the threats are definitely potential threats, if you think, are quite alarming and sometimes disquieting, really. So, this coordination is necessary. I will ask you one question now. There is a new scheme which came recently, maybe 2 years ago, called Agnipath, and Agniveers are the participants. They are supposed to be working in the army with necessary training. Quite possibly, the quality of training must be the same as those who are permanently commissioned. So, they are extremely qualified. After 5 years, as I know, correct me if I am wrong, they are let loose, like, they are released, and they, with the fond belief that they will find a suitable employment for themselves and eke out a good life. Do you think all of them will find a suitable employment commensurate with their experience in the defense forces? Or if they don't, what do they do? Are they not likely to get frustrated and go in wayward fashion into wrong ways? That is also a possibility, I feel. What is the plan that the government would be having in mind?
See, earlier the procedures were archaic. They dependent on whatever system we had at the time of independence. We continued with that, except with minor changes. But with the expenditure on pensions of the soldiers and the armed forces personnel that are being released after finishing their 20 years tenure or after retirement, that was becoming a big burden. There had to be some solution. So it can be innovative. It can be totally, people can have different views on that. There can be pros and cons. But the best one has to come out. So this has been discussed at length with the Defense Forces headquarters. They had their views. Some said yes, some said no, some found some faults with that. But any new procedure has to evolve. We will keep learning as we grow. As per me, it's a fantastic solution where large number of youth of the country get an opportunity to serve the motherland, maybe for 4 or 5 years, and if they are willing and they are good, they will be 25% of them will be retained, will be absorbed. The rest of them will be given a good amount of money when they are released, so that they can explore.
What is that good amount?
That's about 4.75 lakhs or so, plus the MSME schemes, plus the government schemes in which they will be given in case they want to invest in some firm, they want to start up something on their own, or they want further education. They can utilize this money for achieving their aim in life.
Yeah, idea is very good, but I would have been much happier had the government assured them of a tie-up with, if somebody wants to be self-employed, he can set up an enterprise, let's say a small scale or medium scale industry. So tying up of the loans and making it easy repayment schedule and all that, hand holding, all this is required. So the apprehension which I have, many would be having also, is if somebody fails to get any viable source of income after having served the motherland for 5 years in a good faith that he will settle down after that and look after his family, but doesn't find any kind of viable employment, he may actually get frustrated and may not generally be productive and may actually become counterproductive.
I don't agree with you for the simple reason that all these people belong to some state, and they would like, preferably they would like to serve in their state.
Yes.
And majority of the states have given an assurance that 10% in some states and 20% in other states of the uniformed services will be reserved for the Agniveers. That's quite a chunk. 10%. Uttar Pradesh has recently passed a cabinet decision, this thing, GO, that they will absorb 20% of the Agniveers of Uttar Pradesh. And Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and Madhya Pradesh, and Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab, they contribute the maximum number of Agniveers to the armed forces. And it's a good thing. Majority of the people.
No, I sincerely hope this thing works out, because, first and foremost, youth getting trained in the defense forces. That means they become physically, mentally robust, and they become patriotic, and they are moved into the society, place of their choice. So we will get very useful citizens.
That's what.
So this is a good opportunity. My another apprehension which I always have is the recruitments to the state government positions are always erratic, if you see. Like even to float an advertisement, there is a controversy. To conduct an examination, there is a controversy. So in this entire thing, if these guys get embroiled, it becomes a problem. But I hope, because the government with good intentions has started, and we all should, as conscientious citizens, hope that this scheme takes off very well, and nation building exercise, the demographic dividend which we always talk about, must really come true. At the present position, it's a good start. This is one of the good schemes. Let's hope it starts off well.
This thing, they have been baptized by fire in the recently fought war of Op Sindoor, and they have come out with flying colors.
So they were involved in Operation Sindoor. Excellent.
So all along the LOC, LAC, and the international border, they were all exposed to fire, and we have no complaints about them. So it's a fantastic scheme, and even in the government, the present government and the future governments, the political leadership should find ways of cutting down the expenses so that we can give more money where it matters for R&D, development, industrialization, giving more jobs. So that is how the India will progress.
So General Srinivas, I feel that somehow, as a general concept, the budget is made every year. Every year, financial bill is passed in both houses of the parliament. Now, there are certain departments in the government chronically underspending their budget allocations, whereas we require more money for modernization of the defense department. Because of the very nature, the world is driving the rest. Some of the countries are driving the rest of the world by developing so fast. There are other countries, it's a sine qua non for them that they also develop and be on the race. Now, the question is, these departments which underspend the budget allocations must be somehow made to learn a lesson by cutting down their budgets and then allocating them to some of those most critical departments like defense department. Do you think that kind of thing goes on, or I'm not sure?
In the armed forces, we have a long-term integrated perspective plan. So we look at 15 years hence, what type of equipment we require.
Why 15
when
years?
do we require?
When China plans for 100 years and more than that, 15 years is too short.
But we have only 5 years plans with the government.
That is all right.
So in the armed forces,
Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru ji, as a visionary, he started 5-year plans, but he never probably said that you should stick to 5 years only. He planned perspective plan for 50 years and divide into 10 slices.
We have in the Ministry of Defense, in the armed forces, perspective planning directorate. So they look into the future, what will be our requirement and how long will it take, etc. Earlier, the defense procurement procedure and defense procurement policy have been archaic and rule bound, and they were not meeting the requirements of today and tomorrow. Whereas now, the changes are happening so fast that our civilian industry is ready with a product. They are just looking at when do you need it, and we are looking at when do we want it and we can pick it up. They can ramp up the production the moment we place the orders. For the research and development, in case the armed forces or the government of India chips in and gives them some assurance that yes, we will be able to buy some of your products if they meet the requirements, then the civilian leadership, civilian industry will be able to invest that much, perhaps tie up with the other, say Israel, Brazil, or any other countries which are doing development and co-produce the things, and they are readily available whenever the India needs it. This is what is Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Yeah, very good. The Atmanirbhar Bharat is as pristine as possible as an idea and a concept. There is absolutely no doubt. Everyone must support. Unless we are self-reliant, we can't make a headway into the needs of the country. But you see, Make in India program was launched with great gusto and ease of doing business. These are the two catchphrases going around at the time of my retirement. And I remember in Assam, huge money was spent in actually developing a simple software for ease of doing business. I told at that time the CS that don't you think we are having too many meetings and doing nothing? And he was annoyed, of course. The point is, you see, for instance, you and I use Apple iPhones. Every year it makes you buy a new model. This dependence should go away. We should make our own phones with high-end technology. If necessary, collaborate with some country which is friendly with us technologically and make mobile phones which need not be upgraded every year with cost escalation, making it difficult. Just mobile phone is one example I have taken. Like that, when you depend on the other countries for high-end technology or devices using high-end technology, and you don't manufacture anything, because India is not famous for manufacturing. So the Make in India has to come true. Is the defense ministry doing anything about it? About we developed MBTs and we developed some light combat aircrafts and all those things, but they are only small in number, really speaking.
See, everything cannot be manufactured by the government-owned ordnance factories.
Private, let the private investment
private.
come.
Now the private investors have come. The Baba Kalyani Forge, Tata Advanced Systems, Reliance. So they have all come in tie-up with the aerospace also has opened up along with in conjunction with the Israelis. So these are developing high-end technological products which are very useful to us. The best example is our BrahMos. The BrahMos, a joint venture between the Russians and the Indians, that has hit
the DRDO,
the hell out of the Pakistanis, and everybody is scared of that, and everybody wants BrahMos. So similarly, the Pinaka rocket systems that we have developed, the Akash missile systems that we have made, the electronic warfare suits that we have made, so they are all ours. Yes, the indigenous component of that may not be 70-80%, but yes, but it is developed, assembled, it is ready to be given to the armed forces. That way, by making it more competitive, the field of manufacture of weapons and ammunition, making it competitive, the government has taken the right steps for making it available easily. And the DPP, the procedure, the DAC approvals, they are also coming in a big way. The best example one you can see is in the Indian Navy. The number of ships that have been built in India with collaboration with others, that is phenomenal. That much of money is being pumped into India. That is giving jobs, that is giving developing our technology. So our dependence on Russia and other countries is reducing. That's a real fantastic progress. In fact, majority of the wars, as you see, they are only helping the American war-making arms industry. That is how they sell this, and then the others buy. Why should we buy? We should buy what we need, and we should make it in our country, and we should buy it. By this, the India is also developing, and I'm sure we will become a fully developed nation as we are aspiring to be by 2047, and take our rightful place as one of the leaders in this multipolar world.
See, Hyderabad is a classic example when the then chief minister went around the world, met some of the industrial giants in the IT and non-IT sectors, brought them to Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh, the then Andhra Pradesh, and practically all the most famous companies, they have come to Hyderabad. Why? Because land was given at
throwaway price.
Not throwaway. Simply, if I know, if my knowledge or information is correct, they have given on lease at 1 rupee for 30 years lease. came Infosys, Qualcomm, or what, Microsoft, TCS, all kinds of companies, the multinational companies. Some of them Indian multinationals, some are actually multinationals from abroad. They have come in droves. Now we are sitting in a place which is almost, it looks like Manhattan when you drive in the night. So what is very important is assurance of land, prompt assurance of land, supply of electricity, constant supply of electricity, then maintenance of law and order, and some peace and quiet to work, and a good environment for their factories to run, all these things. So the state definitely has a huge role in doing that. Land seems to be one of the great obstacles. Once that is given, so a lot of people will come, and I hope that will happen.
With the infrastructure developing at the pace that we are seeing, and the defense industrial corridors that are coming up in Uttar Pradesh, and I think between Nellore and to the Chennai, and even the present CM has proposed that Hyderabad, Bangalore. So if these come up, once the infrastructure is there, then rest all will fall in place.
That's what.
Yeah. So towards that, we are making tremendous progress, and that way, all arms of the government are focusing towards becoming a fully developed nation by 2047. That's a fantastic thing. And in this, the state governments, irrespective of whichever party they belong to, they are contributing. Everybody is aspiring to be a $1 trillion economy in the near future.
Actually, $1 trillion economy, the $4 trillion economy doesn't make much sense to me, really speaking, because as long as your Gini coefficient is not favorable to the nation, whereby the largest chunk of income comes from the smallest percentage of population, it doesn't matter if it is. Thank you, General Srinivas, for gracing the occasion, educating us, expatiating on some of the complex issues in a simple and lucid manner.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
very much indeed. And I should express my deep sense of gratitude to Subarao, who came to actually encourage me and out of his busy schedule. Then Chandrahas and Harish doing a wonderful job as always. Thank you very much. Jai Hind,
Jai Hind,
Jai
Jai
Bharat.
Bharat.